What's going on, everyone? It's Trevor here for RSG, and we like to save money. We all know that. So what do we want to do? We want to custom sleeve our own cables, our existing cables, with just using staples, a lighter, some paracord, different colors, of course, and some scissors. And if you want to find out how we're going to do that, what you need to do is you need to stick around. Alright, so what's going on? What we're going to need to do today is we're going to take a look at custom sleeving our own existing power cables. Custom sleeve cables can be very expensive, as we all know, so what are we going to do to combat that? We're going to take our existing cables and sleeve them. Now, I have some extras. I'm going to start out just showing you the GPU cable, then we'll see how the GPU cable works. So, anyways, let's take a look at what we're really going to need. So we're going to need the lighter. What's the lighter for? Well, the lighter is for the paracord, because if you look here, it's all frayed, okay? But that can be taken care of when you turn a fan when you turn a fan off. I got to turn the fan off. We'll come back to that. Okay, fan's off. I had to turn the fan off cuz light. All right. So, as you see, it's all frayed, right? I'm just showing you. You can kind of it's kind of like plasticky, so as much as it seems like cloth, it's very like got a plasticky kind of thing going on. So, you know, even if you go around, I'll show you what we're really going to, this is going to become very, very handy to have that. So, I've got the red, white, and black is what we're going with. 16 feet each. Should take care of everything I need. It may not seem like a lot, but that's quite a bit. That's more than you should need. I'm going to take my GPU cable. It's all frizzed up. I'll show you about that. So what I'm just going to show you that we're going to do real quick, what I'm just going to show you is like, this is an existing cord. This is what's going to go to my GPU. Now what I did with this is I actually already took out some of the connectors, but as you see, they don't just pop out, okay? I put them back in. I'll explain all that. But with the connectors, okay, there was an extra one. I only have an 8-pin. I didn't need that extra piece hanging off, so I terminated those ends, got rid of them. And then basically what you need to do is how this is see how it came as a 3, like it's 3 in 1, right? Let's get in real close to that. So right now I pulled these apart. So that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to pull these apart. Okay, we're going to want to make them individual wires. Now, something that I want to point out, and we'll do this in the up close because I'm not going to do everything like this. We'll do this in the up close as well. So as we're peeling these apart, you know, they just come, boom, just like that. So now we have all our individual wires, and it may look like a mess now. It may look like crazy mess right now, but it's really not too bad. You know, so there we go. That's what we're going to be sleeving today. If I don't grab the mic cord with everything, you know, like, because apparently my mic cord looks like the wire, see? So my mic cord. Now you're sitting there going, okay, well, I know what the scissors are probably for. It's for cutting everything. Yes, wires and all will be done with the scissors. And then we are going to take our staples. What you do is get real close, and you like, what I like to do, right? You get real close. Let's see if we can get it zoomed in right there. Okay? And take 2 of these. So 2 staples. So what you do is you push in the side to get 2. Even if you get them a little bent, you know, where only one comes off at a time, you want the majority of it to stick together, and I'll show you why. So, that's your easiest way. Okay, that's your easiest way, is to like bend 2 away, and then take it and kind of like peel away 2. So we get 2. Right now that's going to be our handle side, so it doesn't matter. But this side is stuck together. Okay, now you're going to bend these. Be careful not to bend them too much, like, and you'll feel it like snap kind of, and if that's the case, don't use it. Make another set. So, there we go. So get it straight like that. See? Make 2 sets of these. Make 2 of these. You can actually, I suggest make quite a few of them, you know, just so you get them out of the way and just stick them off to the side. Okay, this is how we're going to release the pin. This little thing right here is how we're going to release the pin. That's how it's going to come off. And I'll show you that when we're up close. So that's everything we need. The staples, you know, the scissors, you know, our paracord, and of course our cable. Now, you're going to have your computer off, obviously, for the other cables, but I had an extra one of these, unless you have some of these extra, but I had an extra for my GPU, and I only have an 8-pin GPU. So I think we should be all set on this. Let's do one last thing I want to tell you. Do one wire at a time. If you take one out of one spot, you know, remember where you put it, mark it, however you got to do it. Remember where it goes, okay, because you don't want to screw up the pin out. You screw up the pin out, might blow some up. So I like to do things one at a time when it comes to these. I really don't want to mess up the pin layout, and this is something you want to do too, is maybe take a picture or a mental note. I would suggest a picture or written down or some kind of mark to show you where the pin is not, because, you know, as you see, one is missing. I like to use the actual clip as reference in my mental note of, hey, you know, the one on the bottom right, if the clip's on the top, there is not one for that, so don't put one in there. Now, this is going to be the staple that we're going to stick in on the side. As you see, there's little tiny slots on either side, and that's going to be able to push in the wings that we need to push away so it'll come undone from the actual unit. Because how it works is these wings stick out, and when you push in, you'll hear like an audible click, but I wasn't able to actually get a recording of that. It was so faint, it's really quiet, but you'll definitely be able to hear it if you're doing it yourself, you know, especially in a quiet room. As you see, I have the two up there. It's going to press down on the wings on each side, but it can get quite frustrating. This one came very easy. Some of them will make you really tug at it and try, and you'll go probably through tons of staples, but the wings are what can get damaged if you pull them out incorrectly. Now, hopefully you'll only damage one wing if worse comes to worse. If you damage both, then you got to maybe find a way to crazy glue them or something in there, because it will no longer stay in. That is something very important. Like I said, let's do one wire at a time is what we decided to do there. So the one wire at a time. As you see, I am now disconnecting from the other side. Yes, it's more time consuming, but it makes sure that you can't really mess up, because we really don't want to mess up with the wires and a power supply and things that deliver a bunch of power to things. No, we don't want to mess that up. So let's look at us getting this one undone as well, which I think this one came fairly easy but harder than the other one. As you'll see that I'm messing around with it quite a bit to try to get it out, and it's driving me nuts. So you will go a little crazy trying to get some of this out, and I don't remember, but I may have actually bent one of the sides on there, but I'm not sure. I can't remember at this point, but there you go, it's out. And then I'll show you what to do from that point on if you do miss one of the wings, like one of the wings is broken. Okay, now you're going to want to stretch out the cable. Get it a nice stretch, maybe try to get it as straight as you possibly can, because, you know, you don't want it to be messy by any means. When it comes to the cables inside, you want them to be somewhat straight so you can actually manage them correctly. And now we'll take out the ruler and we'll find out how much that we'll really need. And I think these came to 2 feet. So that's what we'll need in paracord, is we'll need 2 feet. So like I said, you just take the measuring tape, which I forgot to actually mention. I would suggest a ruler. Ruler does make it easier, but you would want one of the longer rulers, because like I said, this was 2 feet. If you just get a normal ruler, it's about a foot. So I would go with some kind of yardstick or something of that nature, but you only have what you have. So I used the tape measure, and actually it worked out great. So I found out that this was 24 inches, and I cut all of my paracord to that. Now right on top here, I had to modify these cables, which had other cables coming off of it, so I could make it a single run. What I will explain is, when you do that and you're running it through the paracord, do not use that side to run it through the paracord. It makes it very tough to actually do that. So use the other side, because it is a lot thinner not having that. That is also the reason why I was not able to make them very up close to the ones going into the power supply, as you will see. So as you see here, I'm cutting away the 2 feet, and from there on we're going to cut all the other ones we need. But to find out that first, we'll have to do something else. So stick around for us to get to that point. Okay, so right here what we're going to want to do is pull out the strings that actually make up the strength of the paracord, even though we only need the sleeving. Do not try to feed it through with just the bare metal. We have another method that works way better. The bare metal will get caught because remember it is kind of fabric even though it melts like plastic. And that's tape. Tape is our friend in this one. We're going to want to take it and wrap it around the tip so we can stuff it right into the sleeving. I know that sounded wrong, but I mean we're being serious here, you know. But hey, let your mind run rampant on that one. But you're just gonna wrap it around the tip. This way we could shove it right on into that sleeving. And then another thing I want to point out is I think in this one I did it from the bigger side with the 2 wires. Don't do that. Do it with the thinner side, like I said. Now here we have our color coding. At first I wanted to go with one way of colors, and I decided, you know, oh wait, we need more in the middle, and this is the color scheme I was originally going to go with, but I decided against that. You will see shortly what I actually decided to go with, and that's going to be the 2 black in the middle. Now something I said earlier is that you'd have enough paracord. No, whatever color is going to be your more dominant color, like has more of it, which is going to be the black for instance, you're going to need more paracord. You actually might want to get it for all colors just to have it just in case. Now as we're feeding it, eventually it will not let you feed it anymore just by pushing the wire through. So what you want to do is like a Chinese finger trap kind of idea. Shove them together and then shove it together, pull it down and then slide your one hand down, and as you see, what eventually you'll do is you'll poke it through the top just like that. So there we go. Now this side we're going to put right up to the connector. It's small, but on the other side we can't put it up to the connector. It actually had to be done on the wire itself, just for the simple fact that because of the double wire on the other end, it wasn't able to fit into the connector. I'm going to fix that with heat shrink down the line, as I think I mentioned earlier, but this is what we're doing, and I found a new method. If you're actually going to do that, what I suggest is fray the top a lot more, and then when you melt it you can actually squeeze it on and make it come to a taper. It looks a lot neater. And be careful also when you're lighting it, because you can burn it, make it look burnt, and that'll look worse. Now connecting to the power supply underneath where I have a shroud, you won't see the bottom piece, so I didn't mind. Now here it looks like you might not have enough paracord, but what you need to do is pinch one end and start sliding your finger down as you saw, and guess what? You're going to end up with it a lot closer. And you can even do it again, and I'll bet you it'll get even closer. So as you see, it's frayed right there, but if you get a little more frayed than that, it becomes very malleable at the end, and you can easily just pinch it off. Now yes, pinching this, it is kind of like plastic. You might get some on your hands, and it might burn a little bit, but you'll be fine. You'll live through it as long as you don't do it stupidly. So on here, the wire side of it doesn't really stick like the other side does, but what's nice is when I was all done, I was able to actually slide these up to the end of the connectors, so it almost looked like they were actually pushed in like the other side is, that we will see. But I think that's enough to tell you about for now. Let's show you the rest of here. Alright, so what we're going to show you right here is how I did not put the sleeve to the end, so we could easily just snap the piece right in, and then you could slide up the sleeve as you need. Now as we go on to the next part here, and you see that's not moving out, we're going to put in the one where we had the sleeve go all the way to the end, and see, since it's thinner, it can fit in with the sleeve and no problems, doesn't pull out. But this is really important. If you're missing one wing, well then guess what, you're going to need to repair the other wing. I would suggest getting yourself a razor blade. Makes it very easier. That's great, very easy. So you're going to want to bend that one wing out that's still remaining. Be careful with it because they can snap easy, as you see right there how it's bent out, and this way you'll be able to actually pop it into the unit without it sliding out, and it'll still hold it there even though it's still missing a wing. So that is how you fix that issue. If you're missing both wings, well, you might be looking into like crazy glue or something to get that to stay, but see, no problems, staying right in, and it looks great. And then last but not least, you have one wire going into two. Just do it like all the rest, but just disconnect it from this part right here, And that's basically it. So let's get on to the rest of this, the end at least. Of course, the lighting's not the best in here. My studio's kind of off limits, but when it gets dark, it's kind of tougher to see. But let's get into the end of this. So this is the final finished product, where you have the colors separated. Looks all nice, and I'm sure it'll look a lot nicer than the nasty black wires that were in there when I first had this. So I hope to do all of them and make them all look good. Now this is my side that's going to connect to the power supply, and the wires are kind of like showing because they were fatter on the other end because there's like 2 wires, so I couldn't really get them in. But I'm going to get some heat shrink and change that up, make that a little nicer. These sides went right directly in, so that's going to be nice, looking right there. And I think we're basically all set. Overall, this was not that hard of a task, just time consuming as heck. So keep that in mind, very time consuming. But overall, it was a great time that I had doing this. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do more and get the rest of my things. But I'll tell you what, it saved me a lot of money, and I'm sure it could save you a lot of money. Don't forget to follow my Twitter, and if you have any pictures of maybe cables you made yourself, throw them on my Twitter, post them to there, because that's how I'm going to see them. Other than that, you can make sure you hit this subscribe button if you actually want to subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video you just saw, you can hit the like. Maybe you don't like it, you could hit the dislike, but at least you can hit something. And you could share it out, and comments are always good down below. But for all those that are going to keep watching my videos, I'll see you next time.